Look, a lot of shooters out there think that if an air rifle does not have a computer chip or a battery pack inside it, it is just an outdated toy. They think the old-school mechanical platforms cannot keep up with the new electronic era. And honestly, that exact mindset is costing them a fortune in broken circuit boards and dead batteries right when they are out in the middle of a serious hunt. Let us be real for a second. If you want absolute ballistic perfection and surgical accuracy that will never leave you stranded in the backcountry, you do not need a computer. You need master-tier British engineering. The heavy hitters in the airgun world are completely shifting their attention to what is coming out of Staffordshire this year. Everyone wants a piece of it. Today we are tearing down the absolute top 7 best BRK air rifles of 2026. These are the rugged, unapologetic, mechanical powerhouses that are dominating the field and redefining the entire PCP landscape. Looking at the ultra-compact market, the BRK Atomic XR is a fascinating piece of machinery. It is completely designed to be the ultimate pistol-carbine hybrid for shooters who want high-power performance in a minuscule frame. Under the shroud, this little machine features a tiny 24 cubic centimeter air reserve and a short 10-inch Lothar Walther barrel. When you pull the stock off, the entire platform shrinks down to just 14.5 inches, letting you run it like a massive, heavy-hitting pistol. Now, let us talk about the mechanics inside on this rig. It utilizes a highly specialized dual-system power adjustment architecture that works directly with an internal Huma air regulator. By balancing the regulator output with the hammer spring tension, you can tune this tiny gun to deliver a solid 20 foot-pounds of energy for 30 shots. Or dial it all the way down to a whisper-quiet 4 foot-pounds to get over 100 shots for indoor basement plinking. But here is the deal. We have to talk about the ergonomics on this thing. When you attach the tactical stock to run it as a carbine, the balance gets incredibly strange and rear-heavy because the 5-pound weight is crammed into such a short footprint. It feels awkward against your shoulder until you spend weeks getting used to the weird center of gravity. When you pull the 2-stage adjustable trigger, it snaps like a thin glass rod. The firing sound is surprisingly loud for its size, hitting your ears with a sharp, concussive pop that definitely requires an external silencer if you want to stay backyard friendly. I know the traditional firearm guys will doubt a lightweight aluminum tube rig, but sound off below if you have ever carried a sub-6-pound pack rifle into the woods. Stepping up the power, let us look at the BRK Concept X. This gun completely replaced the older bolt-action model and acts as a lightweight entry point into their tactical lineup. It drops the heavy carbon bottles to save weight, relying instead on a slim 150cc aluminum air cylinder that keeps the total weight around 6 pounds. Let us dive into the mechanics inside on this minimalist platform. It features a native AR-15 buffer tube interface machined straight into the rear block. This design means you can unscrew the factory stock and slap on absolutely any aftermarket military spec stock or commercial grip you want, letting you customize the physical interface perfectly to your body geometry. Here is the deal breaker though, and it is a pure financial hit. The damage to your wallet for this stripped-down tube gun is nearly $1,200, and it does not even come with a hard case or a second magazine. Buying extra self-indexing magazines or a proper tactical bag will easily drain your wallet for another $200, which feels steep for a minimalist base model. Pulling the side lever is smooth, and the trigger breaks like snapping a dry toothpick. The muzzle blast sounds like a sharp nail gun echoing off a concrete wall, so you will definitely want to take advantage of the threaded shroud to tame that report. Now we get into the serious hunting rigs, and the BRK Commander XR is a pure, unadulterated Magnum powerhouse designed for deep penetration in the field. This heavy hitter features a rugged military-spec chassis, paired with a massive 480cc carbon fiber bottle and a long 23-inch barrel on the Magnum version. This gun is a solid pest-dropping machine, but wait until you see the absolute slug-slinging monster at number 1, which takes this mechanical architecture to a whole different level of domination. Looking at the mechanic's insight on the Commander XR, it uses an innovative balanced valve system that works in perfect harmony with the Huma air regulator. When you are pushing heavy 25 cal lead down range at 55 foot-pounds of energy, the internal valve limits hammer slap and prevents regulator creep. This means you get 45 consecutive shots with a virtually flat velocity string, which is crucial for knocking down medium-sized pests at 75 yards. But here is the deal breaker, and it is a major air performance quirk. Because this rifle is such a massive air hog when tuned for high power, the regulator recovery rate is painfully slow if you fire rapid follow-up shots. If you cycle the side lever and pull the trigger too fast, the plenum does not have enough time to refill, causing your second shot to drop low and completely miss the target. When you slide the side lever back and chamber a pellet, the mechanical connection feels incredibly crisp. The match-grade trigger breaks like a thin pane of sugar glass. The firing cycle sounds like a heavy dead blow mallet hitting a solid oak table, producing a deep, concussive thud that lets you know you are throwing massive power downrange. Pushing deeper into the tactical hunting lineup, we have the BRK Pathfinder XR. This rig is the ultimate high-capacity backpack hunter, laser-focused on giving you maximum terminal power in the tightest package possible. It completely ditches the standard aluminum cylinder for a state-of-the-art 300cc carbon Kevlar bottle, keeping the total weight down to a ridiculous 6.4 pounds. It rocks a super short 10.1-inch match-grade barrel and collapses down to just over 16 inches when folded. Looking at the mechanic's insight here, the magic is in how BRK engineered the high-flow valving to work with such a restricted barrel length. You would think a 10-inch barrel cannot generate velocity, but by maximizing the air volume from the valve and relying on a perfectly metered blast from the Huma air regulator, this 25 cal variant spits lead at an incredible 30 foot-pounds of energy. That means you get devastating knockdown power for truck cab ratting without needing a 30-inch musket. But here is the truth. The build quality on the folding stock has a serious catch. Because they cut so much weight to make it a backpacker, the polymer folding hinge on the stock can develop a noticeable wobble after heavy field use. If you are constantly snapping it open and closed in the back of a dirty pickup truck or dragging it through the brush, that hinge area starts to flex right when you need a perfectly rigid cheek weld for a long shot. Pulling the trigger on this tiny beast feels like snapping a crisp baby carrot in half. Because you are forcing that much high-pressure air out of a microscopic tube, the unsuppressed muzzle blast is absolutely vicious. It sounds like a heavy bullwhip cracking inside a tin shed, so you absolutely must thread on a heavy volume aftermarket silencer to keep your eardrums intact and stay undetected in the woods. Entering the elite tier, we are looking at the massive evolution that is the BRK Ranger XR2 lineup. They ditched the one-size-fits-all approach and rolled out 4 highly specialized models for 2026. But the one that truly stands out is the flagship tactical version. This rig brings a perfectly balanced, fully adjustable tactical chassis to the table, weighing in at exactly 7.5 pounds. For the export market, it is capable of pushing 22 cal lead up to a solid 40 foot-pounds of energy. Let us break down the mechanic's insight on this platform. The true engineering upgrade here is the brand new dual power adjuster system. Instead of just throttling the air with a simple transfer port dial, This rifle pairs a 3-position port restrictor with a highly complex 20-step rear hammer spring tension wheel. This lets you micro-adjust the exact dwell time of the firing valve, meaning you can dial in your velocity perfectly down to a mathematical 5 feet per second shift per click, giving you insane control over your ballistic harmonic node. Look, no gun is perfect, and the caveat on this top-tier tactical model is entirely about ergonomics, because it features a fully articulated, multi-axis adjustable buttstock to get that perfect bench rest fit. There are so many locking levers and adjustment knobs that it becomes incredibly snag-prone. If you are stalking through dense brush or thick woods, those protruding metal adjustment dials will grab onto every single vine and branch, making it an absolute nightmare to quietly maneuver in heavy cover when you squeeze the 2-stage trigger. It breaks like crushing a frozen acorn under your boot. The internal firing cycle is remarkably smooth, and the sound signature from the muzzle is just a dull, muffled thump, sounding exactly like a thick, heavy textbook dropping flat onto a thick, carpeted floor. Closer to the crown, we are entering the absolute top tier of semi-bullpup precision with the BRK Sniper XR2. This design physically shifts the mechanical action slightly rearward into the stock, perfectly balancing the weight between your hands and making the rifle naturally pointable during rapid target acquisition. For long-range varmint hunters, the high-power Magnum version pushes 25 cal pellets downrange at a devastating 55 foot-pounds of energy from a long 23-inch choked polygon barrel. Let us pull back the curtain on the mechanics insight for this premium tack driver. The Sniper XR2 features a unique split-rail optics platform that integrates an 11mm dovetail base with a removable, raised Picatinny rail. This specific geometry matters because it allows you to mount heavy, large objective focal plane scopes directly above the bore axis, without worrying about clearance for the self-indexing magazine. It entirely eliminates the need for awkward, extra-high scope rings, maintaining a rock-solid cheek weld and protecting your zero from shifting after a rough ride in the field. But here is the deal breaker, and it is a painful financial hit. While the base synthetic stock version is reasonably priced, if you want the gorgeous, weather-impervious gray laminate finish with the fully adjustable cheek piece, the damage to your wallet skyrockets by an extra $350. On top of that, BRK utilizes a proprietary fill probe for this specific cylinder interface, meaning if you lose that single brass fitting in the field, you cannot charge your gun with standard quick disconnect hoses, forcing you to buy an expensive replacement straight from the factory. Pulling the side lever on the Sniper XR2 is an effortless, buttery experience. Squeezing the trigger feels like snapping a dry, frozen twig in dead winter. The full-length shrouded barrel with integrated acoustic baffling completely strips away the turbulent air behind the pellet, making the report incredibly quiet, sounding like nothing more than a standard stapler firing into a stack of cardboard boxes. We have finally reached the absolute apex of mechanical pre-charged pneumatics. The #1 spot belongs to the legendary BRK Ghost series. Over the past year, this incredible platform has completely dominated the premium airgun market, setting a benchmark for precision that no other manufacturer can touch. It takes everything BRK has learned over decades of engineering and crams it into an ultra-rigid, monolithic aluminum bullpup chassis that feels completely indestructible in the hand. Let us look at why the Ghost absolutely destroys the competition on this list. It gives you the massive, hard-hitting 55 foot-pounds of energy found in the Sniper XR2, but it packages that power into a bullpup footprint that is almost 10 inches shorter, making the Sniper feel incredibly long and clumsy by comparison. Furthermore, it completely puts the Commander XR to shame when it comes to raw air efficiency. While the commander struggles with regulator recovery during fast shooting, the Ghost utilizes an oversized, high-capacity firing plenum paired with a massive 480cc carbon bottle, letting it deliver a staggering 90 perfectly regulated shots per fill in 22 cal at maximum power, with a standard deviation of just 1.5 feet per second. The deep mechanics insight on the Ghost lies in its advanced, tool-free caliber swap system. By loosening just a couple of structural locking screws on the monolithic chassis, an operator can completely swap out the barrel, the bolt probe, and the magazine in under 2 minutes in the field. This means a single Ghost chassis can instantly transition from a low-power 177 target rifle into a bone-crushing 30 cal slug slinger, throwing 100 foot-pounds of energy downrange, entirely eliminating the need to buy multiple dedicated rifles. Squeezing the match-grade trigger on the Ghost is an out-of-body experience. It breaks cleanly with absolutely zero creep, snapping exactly like a microscopic strand of dry spaghetti. The firing cycle is remarkably refined and dead silent, producing a faint, hollow puff that sounds like a single deck of playing cards dropping flat onto a soft velvet pillow. It is an absolute masterpiece of British engineering. Look, at the end of the day, you can keep chasing the marketing hype and dealing with dead batteries. Or you can invest in mechanical perfection that simply works every single time you pull the trigger. The engineering coming out of that British facility right now is the real deal, and it is exactly what separates the serious shooters from the guys still flipping through glossy sales catalogs. You now know what separates the serious shooters from the guys still reading marketing catalogs. Shoot straight, get prepared,